Welcome back to my kitchen, everyone. It's Danny DiGiacomo, and today we are going to do an easy risotto. And the nice thing about this recipe is that it's pretty much coming straight from the pantry. And let's get going. So we begin with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We have close to 4 tablespoons of butter, some for the beginning, some for the end. We have about a cup of white wine, cracked black pepper and salt, a shallot that's going to be minced, about 2 cups of Arborio or risotto rice, about 3 cups of vegetable broth, also coming from our pantry, as well as the beets. The beets are actually, the ones we're using today are pickled, so I have them soaking in some water just to get rid of some of that brine, but usually I will use fresh beets and roast them, but we're trying to simplify it today. So we have goat cheese, it's an herb, and garlic goat cheese to finish, and some fresh dill. So now we're going to dice our shallots and our beets. We peel them first. You can use onions for this at this point too, but I've done it both ways, and I like this flavor of shallots as well. When I learned to make risotto, I learned with onions, but over the years I've seen it done with shallots when I got more into the industry. So pretty fine. And after this, we're going to drain our beets from the water and dice them as well. So we'll save that. Let's drain our beets. So like I said before, I just wanted to take a little bit of the brine out of it. And you have these are sliced beets. So it's actually very easy. You just go down and across. So we'll finish all of these, and that'll take us to our next step. We're going to move over to the stove. So we start by adding our butter and olive oil. Kind of melt that down a bit. We're going to put our shallots in once it's melted. One thing, one tip with risotto is the stock should be hot from the very beginning. You don't want to add cold stock to risotto because that's going to reduce your temperature and it's not going to cook fast enough. That's why the risotto will take a longer time. So in with our shallots. You're not looking for any brown color on the shallots, you're just looking to melt it down and to get a little bit translucent. I'll take this time to tell you a little bit of history about risotto. Back in about the 20s or 30s, Italy wanted to make risotto the national dish. I think we all know how that turned out. Imagine Italy without spaghetti. So our shallots are starting to heat up. They're going to melt down a bit, and give that another minute or so. So our shallots are nice and translucent now. We're gonna add in our risotto. Now we haven't washed this rice at all. That's definitely an important step to risotto. You never want to wash your rice. You want that starch on the rice, because that's what's going to give you your creaminess and at the end of the dish. This step is to coat each rice grain with some fat. So that's what the purpose of this step is. And at this point I like to add some salt and pepper. And then we'll check again later to see how the seasoning is. Let's add in our beets now. And these beets are gonna turn the rice a nice color. Nice red color. So at this point we have our wine in our pot and some of our stock, and you can see that the rice is starting to absorb the stock. We're gonna do that when we start adding our wine. We're gonna do that for about 10 minutes, continue to stir, and we're gonna check our rice after about 10 minutes. And we're looking for it to be cooked, but we don't want it to be mushy. We want it to be a little bit al dente, just like pasta, which means there's a little bit of bite to it. Some people like to take it a little bit further, which is fine, but we're gonna just cook it al dente. So we'll go on like that, adding our stock ladle by ladle, making sure that the rice absorbs the liquid, and then after that, we'll be ready to finish our dish. So here we go. We have added in the rest of our butter, some of our dill, and the crumbled goat cheese. We tasted it. Our rice is not mushy. It's got a nice bite to it. And you can see that the rice has absorbed all that liquid. And it's off the heat. That's the major step. So we're ready to plate. Here we have our risotto with beets and goat cheese. This can be a main course. This can be an appetizer. I would say that's a decent appetizer portion. It depends on how much rice you like to eat, how much risotto. A few little crumbles on top. And there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this dish. Hope it was easy enough. It took some of the mystery out of risotto for you. If you missed something, the ingredients will be in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe, to share, to like, and see you next time.